From Ray Allen's three-pointer in 2013 that saved the Miami Heat and led them to the NBA Finals win, to Steph Curry's three that broke the single-season record in 2016. The NBA's history is packed with shots that the fans won't soon forget, starting with that 2013 miracle from Allen. Yep, no one will soon forget the incredible shot from downtown that Allen pulled off back in 2013. I mean, it was truly just amazing. The Miami Heat were down 3 points in the 6th game, and it wasn't looking good. It was a make-or-break moment, and fans were at the edges of their seats when King James got his hands on the ball. Yep, the all-time great of basketball was definitely the guy everyone was counting on, but he was unable to score. And just like that, the stress continued. But luckily for Miami, one of their players was able to snag the rebound and pass it to Allen, who was waiting behind the arc. Now, despite how high stakes the situation was, Allen stepped back and let loose a three that had everyone holding their breath. Yup, the shot was on target, and the Heat were tied with their opponents. The game went into overtime, and Miami was able to get the win. And this is eventually what allowed them to keep on winning and take the final. It was one of the most clutch three-point shots ever. But clutch shots aren't the only ones that are memorable. Record breakers like Curry's three in 2016 are also unforgettable. Plus, this one triple allowed Curry to cement his place as one of the all-time NBA greats forever. Yeah, it was a pretty big deal. Now, back in 2015, Steph had already broken the single-season record for three-pointers, but he showed everyone that he was always improving. And the very next year, in 2016, he managed to go beyond what he himself had accomplished the previous year. And this record wasn't anything shabby either, guys. Steph set the single-season record for three-pointers in a game against the Grizzlies by hitting his 402nd three of the season. That's an insane number, and it's definitely a point that no one is going to forget anytime soon. I mean, can you imagine the hype and excitement that built up leading to this one point? Yep, this was a three everyone was waiting for, and Steph definitely delivered. Still, as impressive as this record-breaking point was, it's not the only one of its kind. Yep, Klay Thompson also managed a memorable point from behind the arc. And maybe this was meant to be, since Thompson is the longtime teammate and friend of Steph Curry. Maybe these two just have something that no one else does. Anyway, Thompson set the record for the most three-pointers in a single game back in 2018 against the Chicago Bulls. The guy caught fire from behind the arc and sunk point after point into the basket. The fans couldn't believe their eyes, and with every three that Klay made, the excitement was rising. Yep, the fans wanted to see if he'd be able to beat that record. So you can bet that no one's gonna forget that smooth shot he let off from downtown that finally broke the record. It was honestly sensational, and all anyone could do was applaud. What's even more amazing is that the previous record of 13 three-pointers in a single game was set by none other than Thompson's teammate Curry. Now, we've talked enough about how great Curry and the guys around are. It's time to move on to a three-pointer that led to Steph losing in 2016. That's right, I'm talking about Kyrie Irving's clutch shot in the 2016 NBA Finals. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors went head-to-head in a fierce battle. LeBron and Kyrie on one side, and Klay and Curry on the other. But only one team could win. And unfortunately for Curry and the Warriors, it wasn't their day. No, Kyrie was in perfect form, and his accuracy was off the charts. The guy cemented himself as one of the greatest clutch shooters in all of the NBA with this win. Now, leading up to the final minutes of Game 7, the teams were tied 89-89, and it was one of those make or break moments. Whoever scored would shift the momentum in their favor, so you can guess why it was an intense nail-biter of a game. Despite the pressure though, Irving came in clutch, and when he received a pass from King James, he wasted no time in shooting from behind the arc and straight into the basket. Plus, he made the shot over none other than Steph Curry himself. This was the three that changed the way the game was flowing and allowed the Cavs to run away with the win. Now, this point was memorable on its own, but it was made even more epic by the fact that it led the Cavaliers to their first NBA championship win. Now, as epic as this moment was, the Warriors definitely got their revenge. In fact, Kevin Durant ended up scoring an equally magical three against them in the future. You really can't make this stuff up, guys. In 2016, the Cavaliers beat the Golden State in the championship, and the shot that turned the game was a magical three-pointer that was scored over Steph. Yep, in 2017, somehow almost the exact same thing ended up happening, but to the Cavaliers. It was Game 3, and the teams were tied at 113-113, with just 40 seconds left on the clock. Durant got his hands on the ball, and it wasn't looking good. And he was being guarded by LeBron. Still, the Warriors' star dribbled left and made space, and then he let off an amazing shot that found its way into the basket. Just like how Kyrie had beaten Steph, Durant managed to beat LeBron. It was an amazing moment, and it led to the Warriors winning the championship at the end of a record-breaking season. Now, all of the three-pointers I've mentioned so far were amazing, for sure, but this next one was truly something special. That's right, we're finally talking about Damian Lillard's awesome buzzer beater in the 2019 playoffs. Now, this was in the first-round playoffs, so the pressure wasn't as high, but it was still such an amazing shot that it deserves to be talked about alongside all the other great shots I've talked about. And this is a three that Lillard himself described as one of the greatest moments of his career. So it's a pretty big deal. Anyway, the Portland Trail Blazers and the Oklahoma City Thunder were tied 115-115 with seconds left on the clock. And unfortunately for Oklahoma, the ball ended up in Lillard's hands. Also, this man was way beyond the three-point line. I mean, he was genuinely closer to half court than to the arc. It was amazing. Lillard was slowly dribbling with one defender in front of him, and he made some space and jumped back, letting the ball go. It was a true buzzer beater. I mean, there was only 1 second left on the clock when this ball was in the air, and it went straight into that hoop right as the buzzer went off. There's really nothing else that even needs to be said. Shots of this quality are very rare, and to see it happen in such a close game was really just special. And yeah, I agree with Lillard. It was one of the greatest moments of his career, and it's definitely a point no one's going to be forgetting anytime soon. Well, these were the craziest NBA three-pointers that the fans will never forget.